If a woman tells you her problems, it doesn't always mean she wants a solution. In fact, in most cases, it means she wants to see something deeper. She wants to feel your presence, not your panic. She wants to gauge your emotional strength, not your emotional reaction. As a man, when you're faced with a woman's emotional storms, you're not supposed to be another piece of the chaos. You're supposed to be the anchor in the flood. But most modern men don't get this. They think when a woman starts talking about her emotional issues, it's an invitation to fix her. No, it's often a test of your masculine grounding, a test of your ability to remain still in the face of emotional waves. And that's where Stoicism comes in. The ancient Stoics didn't talk about dating or relationships the way we do now, but they understood human nature. They understood emotion, control, perception, and discipline. This philosophy is not just about sitting in silence or being unbothered. It's about understanding what deserves your reaction and what doesn't. It's about knowing how to respond from strength instead of reacting from fear. And in relationships, that strength is everything. You see, when a woman vents to you, she doesn't always need your advice. What she's looking for is your emotional solidity. She's trying to see if you can hold space without becoming weak. Because if you crumble every time she unloads, how will she trust you with life, with children, with decisions? This video is for the man who wants to build himself into that unshakable force, the one who isn't tossed around by feelings, the one who listens without losing himself, the one who understands she is not looking for a fix, she is looking for your frame, that masculinity is not about control over others, but control over self. In the next 7 parts, I'll break down what you need to understand about a woman's emotional nature, how to respond like a Stoic, and how to build personal power that makes you irresistible, immovable, and respected. But before we dive into it, hit that subscribe button. If you're tired of fake dating advice, empty promises, and soft talk, this is the channel you've been searching for. We deal with hard truths here. We sharpen men here. Now open your mind because the truth is coming. 1. She's not looking for a fix. She's looking for your frame. Most men fall into the same trap when a woman starts talking about her problems. They start fixing. She says, "My friend betrayed me." And he responds with, "Maybe you should stop talking to her." She says, "I feel so overwhelmed." And he says, "You need to take a break or rest more." Sounds helpful, right? Logical. But she's not looking for logic. She's looking for presence, a man's frame, your grounded masculine energy. The ability to sit with her chaos and remain untouched by it. This doesn't mean you ignore her. It doesn't mean you're emotionally absent. It means you're emotionally disciplined. She's not testing your IQ. She's testing your EQ, your emotional quality, your internal steadiness. Think of Marcus Aurelius. The man was emperor of Rome, ruling over an empire, constantly at war, plagued by disease, betrayal, and death. And yet, in his personal writings, his meditations, you never see him panicking. You never see him emotionally vomiting into the world. He was surrounded by storms, but his core was calm. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That quote alone could save most modern men from emotional collapse. Because when your woman comes to you with her inner storm, you are the outside event, and how you respond determines whether she feels safe or suffocated. You don't need to become a therapist. You need to become a rock. She's not coming to you for solutions. She's coming to you because she's drowning in emotion, and she wants to know if you'll sink with her or stand strong. That's why women can lose respect for men who are too eager to fix everything. When you jump into solution mode, you're making her feel like she's a problem to be solved, not a person to be understood. That's where most relationships begin to die, not because of cheating, not because of lies, but because the man becomes emotionally reactive instead of emotionally reliable. Epictetus said it best. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When a woman speaks her problems, your reaction is the test. Do you flinch? Do you over-explain? Do you try to make her feel better just so you feel more comfortable? Because if so, she senses it. And the moment she senses that your strength is just a mask, that you're soothing her to avoid discomfort, her trust in you starts to die. So what do you do instead? You listen, you observe, you breathe, you let her speak without interrupting her flow. You say, I hear you. You don't rush to end the moment. You let her emotion be what the strength to listen without losing yourself. It is without trying to bend it. This doesn't make you weak. It makes you powerful. It shows you're not controlled by the need to control. And here's the kicker. When you stop trying to fix her emotions, they resolve faster because she feels safe, she feels seen, and she feels something rare in the modern world. A man who can hold a storm without being swept away by it. That's your job. That's the masculine role. Not to patch every hole in her boat, but to be the lighthouse in her storm. She may not say it out loud. She may not even understand it fully. But when you respond with grounded presence instead of needy fixing, you gain a different level of respect. She'll walk away feeling closer to you, not because you solved her issues, but because you proved you're the man who doesn't flinch when life hits hard. And in a world full of weak men who fold under pressure, that alone sets you apart. 2. The strength to listen without losing yourself. A woman will often open up to you when she's in emotional turmoil. But what she really wants, what she's testing, is your ability to hear her without becoming her. Let that sink in. She's not looking for a sponge to absorb her pain. She's not looking for a mirror to reflect her chaos. She's looking for a wall, not cold, not distant, just solid. Something she can lean on, something that won't collapse when leaned against. But most men today don't understand this. They confuse empathy with over-involvement. They confuse connection with emotional entanglement. And slowly they stop being men and start becoming emotional crutches. That's when respect disappears. That's when attraction fades. That's when she starts looking elsewhere for strength, even if she doesn't consciously realize it. When you listen to a woman, don't lose your center. Don't get pulled into her emotional frame, because women are emotional creatures by design. They move through their world emotionally. Their emotional reality changes by the hour. But your job as a man isn't to follow that. It's to remain grounded so she has something stable to return to. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in emotional control as masculine power imagination than in reality." That's what happens when men over-identify with a woman's pain. You start living in her emotional story. You start imagining pain that isn't yours. You start reacting to her mood as if it's your job to fix it or feel it, and you begin to abandon yourself in the name of being there for her. That's not Stoicism. That's weakness dressed as compassion. True Stoicism is the ability to be fully present, to hear everything she's saying, to understand it, to empathize, but not to drown in it. That's what separates the grounded man from the emotional boy. One reacts, the other reflects. One absorbs her chaos, the other contains it. You must learn to build a shield around your mind when she's unloading emotionally. Not because her emotions are wrong, not because she's bad, but because it's your responsibility to protect your internal peace. You're no good to her if you lose yourself trying to save her. Picture a storm in the sea. She is the ocean, unpredictable, wild, sometimes peaceful, sometimes thrashing. You are the mountain rising out of that sea, still rooted, unmoved. When she crashes against you emotionally, she's not looking for the mountain to collapse. She's testing its stop-seeking validation. She's testing your inner value strength. She wants to know, are you still standing? Are you still sure of yourself? Are you emotionally secure enough to hear everything without breaking? Most men can't do this. They either shut down emotionally, thinking Stoicism means silence, or they overcompensate by trying to rescue her, fix her, or agree with everything she says just to avoid conflict. Both are weak. The real strength is in being fully open, fully present, and still completely rooted in who you are. When you master this, women respond differently. They stop yelling. They soften. They feel heard, not managed. They feel safe, not smothered, and they begin to trust you, not just with their stories, but with their respect, their admiration, their surrender. Because only a man who hasn't lost himself can lead a woman anywhere. The moment she senses you're just emotionally reacting to her, she sees you as equal to her storms, not stronger than them. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to be unshaken. That alone makes you a rare breed of man. The kind she respects, the kind she craves, the kind who can walk through fire and remain cool. And in today's world of emotional instability, that type of man is not just attractive, he's necessary. 3. Emotional control is masculine power. Let's be real. In relationships, a man's greatest asset is not his looks, not his money, not even his charm. It's his emotional control. That's the foundation. That's the difference between being just another guy she dates and being the man she respects for life.